Okay, I'm live. This is Dr. Lueth. It is Saturday, July 12th, 2025. It is 7:26 a.m. Eastern Time, New York, USA. And I never, I purposely make the dumbest thumbnails, faces, and things like that because we all do that. Okay, I'm real. I'm not fake. Okay, and I'm making this because now I will have a link to give to people. If you are honestly, yes, interested in me, which some of you claim to be on my X account and DMs, okay, if you're trying to perpetrate a fraud, you will get caught. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, I say it in pure, plain, simple English, and yet you don't want to believe it. I can't help you. Okay. Yeah, I did. I changed out some lighting a little bit, and oh, green, green. It's green now. Confirmation. It's green now. Okay. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like I've also been giving confirmations, and people are not aware that I've been giving confirmations. So maybe you should be a little more aware, especially the house of music, the music world. Okay. Because once a certain decision gets made, there is nothing I can do for you. Nothing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I am Dr. Lueth. I am who I say I am. My name has not changed. I've been online using the name Dr. Lueth because I am Dr. Lueth. Okay. I have plenty of credentials, but I understand sometimes why people think the way they do, and some of it does come from trauma thinking. Okay. Some of it does. And so I'm not going to minimize that. And I'm not going to say, oh, suck it up and look, because not everyone was built or meant for certain things. Okay, that's just the fact. That's it. That's just truth. Okay, you want truth. I give you straight truth. I make it abundantly clear all the time that this, okay, is now my diary out loud. Okay, I used to type things out on singing from the crease. Okay, .wordpress.com. That's still there. And I had another blog. So I started trying to move that blog over. And for the most part, I did, but it's still out there. I thought about just shutting it down, but it's still out there. Okay. And when I mean, I do try and interact with people sometimes. And sometimes the way things get written or the way things get read, or, if there's like a raw spot for somebody, sometimes they'll attack me. And I've gotten used to it over the years, but it's unacceptable at this point. All right. I mean, you can't minimize me. You can't deny that I'm telling the truth. Okay? You can't. So I understand it's a little difficult to trust people, especially when you've been shit on for a while. So sometimes I'm just a little more patient than some other people because I can tell sometimes, even if you're far away and even if I can't physically see you with these two eyes, that you're still seen. Okay? You're still heard. And I certainly don't deserve certain things that have happened to me, and that is just fact. Right? And the only thing that I can do for people who participate in witchcraft and things like that is, okay, I can only be a messenger. I don't have you know, any other way to say it. And all those messages have been sent out. Okay, I got what indicated an end of transmission. Okay, and there's Right, that's it. And the last part of that transition was a male who pretty much is looking for actual, real people who practice witchcraft and wizardry and things like that to shut you down. And I don't know how that's going to happen. It's not anything I can see. It's not anything I have access to. And it was in the transmission. So I can't, nothing is going to change about the way I'm saying that. All I know is that please be careful because this particular he, okay, cannot tell the difference between a real witch and a fake one. So if you're an actor or you're playful, you're doing role play with someone, or right, that's what I'm saying is they don't know the difference. Okay, and I have no way of getting any further information until more people are cooperative with me. So I can't do anything about it, but it's something that some should consider. That's it. That's it. That's all I can do. So, right, I will quit addressing that stuff, but anything that came through to me, I check it through Christ. Okay, and so I wait. I wait. I do a lot of waiting, but in that waiting, right, I take the time to learn things. I take the time to make sure that I'm seeing the right doctors, that I'm getting the right amount of rest, that I'm eating more healthy, that I'm listening with active ears. Okay, active listening skills should be taught to children all over the planet. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who they were born to. Doesn't matter what they look like. It doesn't matter where they are on earth. One of the best things you can do for a child is help that child get to know themselves. Every child, all over the planet, it's exactly the same for every child all over the planet. If you want to help them, then help guide them through getting to know themselves really, really well. How they respond to things, things that, okay? And listen to them, knowing full well that they may not have experience in certain things, and you may know as an adult that, that's something that when they're adult, those are adult concepts that you don't need to worry about. Okay? I'm not expecting a child, and children are not permitted to run me for any reason whatsoever. I have completed my reasonable service. Right. I also know that it was Zussi, or the one who was called Jesus. He guided me through some things. I mean, I'm doubtless about it. Doubtless. Okay? The one thing I wasn't expecting is everything to be easy. Everything to be completely understood straight out the bat. Yes, some of us are able to transmute some things. Okay? Not everybody. Not everybody. Some will grow into it. Okay? Some will start becoming more aware of certain things as they grow older. All right? I am not permitted anymore to do certain things, so I've got no choice but to stop. But the highest of the holies, the creator of all things, the true and original divine source, one, I have never been cut off from that source. Never. And so I let some, including the experts, the other thing I use this for is you're more than welcome to try and read me. I've put my palms up so that some can see it. I've let people, look into my eyes. Okay? I've allowed that for several years. Now, if you didn't take advantage of it or take that opportunity, then you're not included and you're going to be kicked out of certain conversations. You are, because you don't belong in them. All right? Mature adults belong here. But I do say, especially if you're an autistic, okay, which I am, I'm in the spectrum too. I don't know what you're sensitive to right off the bat. So have someone who loves you, have someone who knows how you are, have someone who is a caregiver to you. Yeah, look through all this. And they are welcome to, edit it in certain way. That's okay if you're editing it because you know that someone isn't going to be able to handle a certain concept or isn't quite right or has a sensitivity that you know about that I don't. Right. Okay. Maybe when they get older, maybe when they get used to it, you are allowed to do that. The only thing you are not permitted to do is change the meaning of what I say. Okay. That's it. And I do have the credentials to be an educator. So I use this for education. And so other people are allowed to use it for free as long as it is used for teaching, training, education. And as long as you credit the fact that it came from here. I don't typically write in my blogs anymore because I have difficulties, which have stemmed from something called functional neurological disorder, which is a Parkinsonism. I do have a movement disorder. I also have a couple other things that I have to take care of. Okay, the body maintenance alone is pretty much all I can do during a day, and I don't really have a choice about that. All right, but once again, I'm gonna say it out loud. Jussie, that's my happy love name for Jesus. Okay, I don't care what shape the earth is. I'm just grateful I'm like allowed to. I can experience things in this world, and that I can still hear. I'm hearing people, your children, listening. Okay, right. If you take them to a show, if you take them to loud places, put ear protection. Okay, if they can't handle stuff in their ears, like this kind of. Okay, all right. I mean, I've listened to a lot of music pretty loudly, and I've been around a lot of loud places. And so I'm 53, and I know that my hearing is below par for my age. I did have a little situation happen when I was scuba diving a long time ago. I couldn't clear the squeezes properly, so I had an issue. Okay, so my hearing on one side is a little different than my hearing on the other side. And it is below par for a person my age, and I'm sure a lot of that had to do with lots of listening to loud music, especially with headphones. So everybody, be careful about that. Be mindful of it. Know that that is something that can happen. Okay? But if you do take an autistic to a concert uh, at a certain age, yeah, make sure that they have like ears protection noise, okay, because they'll probably be able to hear the music through it, but there'll be less stimulation. And sometimes you want less stimulation because it can be very, very hurtful to people on the spectrum. And if you are doing it on purpose, well, somebody's going to take you to task for that. And you will be stopped one way or another. So, anyway, that's my happy love name for Jesus, Sussy. Okay, there are people who are hockey fans and there are people who know I love ice hockey. And so that's kind of like my way of saying, well, I love you. You know what I'm saying? And then thank you for people who've been helpful and there are people who've been kind along the way. And there's people who've been, you know, right. I mean, I've met a lot of people in my life. And I mostly remember most of them in some way. And a lot of them I understand may not understand the same things I do about like quantum physics and some of the nerdy things that I like, and that's okay because there's other nerdies who do, and there are things that just aren't. even in the human vernacular or language to explain yet. Okay? So I know that some were trying very hard to send me telepathic messages. The problem is it got clogged up by someone who didn't know what they were doing. And I was a male, and I had to ask for assistance from other males because it should be the other males who handle that male, not a female. Okay? I mean, that's the truth. I understand that when it comes to certain uh, worldviews and certain air quote religions and certain uh, things, that it's mainly just males. And when it comes to the Catholics, it's like, well, I just hand all that over to you because you don't want females involved in it. And so I can't help you. Even though I was the one who was sent to help you. There's nothing I can do about it. So I have moved on. Okay? Yeah, I know. There are people around me, and there are other people in the world, and there's some people, it's like, okay, excuse me, but yeah, fraud costs the United States too much tax money. I give a shit. Okay, because when I was working a certain, yeah, I paid taxes. Okay, right now, though, I mean, I don't even hardly make enough to pay taxes, and I would just get them back anyway. But uh, I still can say, though, I mean, I volunteered and have college degrees, and I deserve a bit more uh, recognition for some things. Okay, but I'm not really out for that. And for me, yeah, well, the creator of all things knows me extraordinarily well, and he knows I I don't chase money ever, because sometimes it's not money that's needed. Okay, sometimes people will tell you that money is needed, but that is not actually the truth. Okay, right. And even if I were under judgment, I wouldn't fear judgment. Okay, so all that fear, okay, sometimes it it is there to turn you around. It is there to have you stop. Sometimes it's there for good reason, not for harm. Unfortunately, plenty of human individuals, it isn't air quote witches and magic and that, and it isn't the Holy Lord, creator of all things. It isn't even Satan. It isn't any of that. It isn't your parents. It isn't your brothers. It isn't your sister. It isn't the guy down the street. You are not being manipulated by anyone, and you are doing that free thinking on your own. And so you are going to be held accountable for that. You have not been found blameless. And all I can tell you is, well, then read scripture. I can't help you until you do that. When it comes to the evolutionists, it's like, oh, I can go all day long. I know all about it. Okay? Right. The one known as Jesus, he allows me to study whatever I want. It's not him who's doing certain things to me. It's not him who put them in place. It isn't. And frankly, I don't care if Jesus is the devil. El Diablo. Some things are kept in the dark until the total truth is known. And then it is brought to light. Plain, clear, easy to understand. Okay? So I need better equipment. I mean, I know it's on the way. I'm not worried about it in certain things, in certain ways. But I am saying, well, first of all, Creasesinger Radio, I'm going to repeat it. Okay, that's meant for music makers, musical instruments. Right. So it could be any number of subjects from, like producers who, and people who know how to run the soundboard, people who, tour with other people, people in the background, guitar techs, and people who set up these things, right? So, and yeah, even A&R people having to do with music. Okay, that's what this is oriented to, because just there are a lot of you, if you just take a day, one day, to sit quietly without other people in your life, and if you think back in a protected manner of all the things that you've done, that you realize later in life was hurtful, or you weren't in your right mind, or you were just being an asshole because you just didn't know what else to fucking do. Okay, there are some people I give chances to without fail, because I can understand coming from a trauma perspective. I can understand being taught some stuff and then believing that that is the case, and then getting into a certain where you realize, oh, that's not true. They don't really mean what they say. Yeah. So I don't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So manipulation is just a word. Okay, so it's like I said, a chiropractor might manipulate your right. You have to understand some carry negative and positive connotations, and some get interpreted incorrectly, and so it does happen. It does happen, but I am saying, and I will be honest, and I will do it out in the open in this fashion, in this public fashion, to say, well, I've told Jesus that they're starting to snipe at me again, which means I'm going to have to move again. It's happening much more quickly. I haven't done anything to people around me, harm, nope. Even if I went through judgment, it wouldn't matter. I'm not afraid of it. Especially if it was like, oh, well, let's go over everything, make sure I'm not the idiot asshole by mistake and didn't know any better. Okay? But now I don't have a choice. I know there are people going to be cursing my name. I know there are people who are going to be severely pissed off. And a lot of them are going to be severely pissed off at me. Okay? You want to be something? Be a cycle breaker. Be a spell breaker. You want to be something? Break them out. Walk with them. Help them understand better. All right? Now, I've said this. I'm going to say it again. I'm not human law enforcement. You understand? But I know a lot of human law enforcement officers. And most of them are decent people who are just trying to do their job. Most of them. It's not the same in every country. But I've lived here my whole life, and that I can say with honesty and with truth. Again, I say I'm not getting paid, so I'm not carrying, somebody else's agenda. I'm not being paid to say something that isn't true. Okay, I don't get money. I am neither a Democrat or a Republican. I'm what's known as unaffiliated these days, because I can understand where some Democrats come from. I can understand where some Republicans come from. I mean, I get it, but sometimes there's another perspective that may not be presented by the Republicans or the Democrats in any given electoral cycle. So there are others, and I am one of those who knows that there's some who prefer to have those outside the government, who can, fresh eyes, who aren't a part of it, because that is a more unbiased, more objective way to see things. But I am saying to everyone, if you are in the United States of America, please do not attack me. And if anyone gets online and tries to expose me, you better have every single thing I said verbatim. You better have the proof to without a doubt. Without any shadow of doubt, convince a jury of 12. Or convince certain judges who, right, you're not going to be able to do it. I'll even let you look for dirt on me. And you found nothing you can work on. Then you found nothing to hold on to, didn't you? Right? Because I know myself really well. And I've been tested for patience. So when I'm all the way through, okay, and I'm good with God, you understand? And I am tuned in to the Holy Lord Jesus to the point where he and I can never come out of alignment. And when it comes right down to it, I'm going to choose love every single time. Love above all else. Every single time, without fail. Without fail. I'm having too many false accounts following me on Twitter X. And because I do appreciate a lot of people who make music, okay? I mean, some of them are musicians, and some of them probably need to know. Some of you are contacting me. One, maybe pretending to be law enforcement. Two, maybe pretending to work for any number of names here. Let me pull some up from the music industry. Right, Joe Elliott from Def Leppard. Does Joe Elliott know that there's like 5 accounts, several of them on Telegram? Is that the actual real Joe Elliott from Def Leppard? I doubt it. Okay, I doubt that Joe Elliott is trying to get $200 for a VIP ticket so I can party with Def Leppard. Okay, and I doubt that some of you actually work for Interpol. Okay, in the United States, pretending to be a law enforcement officer is a serious crime. Okay, your protection is gone. Many of you may have been protected, but free will, and you have been found without excuse. And since I was the first one up, I was found blameless. I'm not afraid of judgment. Doesn't bother me. And I don't mind like gentle corrections. I don't get everything right. I mean, I know. Sometimes I'm like too tired, or sometimes I misheard something, right? So I do try to listen again to certain things to make sure that I heard it correctly, right? And to make sure that it's not something that I need to attend to, right? But essentially, what is happening on Earth, it is coming quickly to an earthly place near you, wherever you are, whoever you are. I'm also going to tell you, none of you, nobody in flesh, has the right to attack me to write falsehoods about me. Okay, someone wants to get online on YouTube, and I'm gonna tell you, well, you better have the proper proof according to human courts of law in the United States of America, because that's where I live and that's where I was born. Also, some of us were adopted. Okay, so we got handled differently from those of you who were not. I happen to be aware of it. Some people were not made aware of it. And to be honest with you, I'm going to let the people who decided not to tell your children that they were adopted, I'm just going to say, as from an adopted person's perspective, I think it is better that you tell your child that they were adopted. Because I think that that shows honesty and truth, and it will help them trust you more. It will help them understand that your so-called parents, your adopted parents, want you to trust them, want you to know the truth. I can only say in the United States of America, I don't care if it's like a state thing or a federal thing, to be honest with you, but there really should be a way for adopted people in the United States to get medical, genetic medical information. Okay, not the names. Okay, not names, not information, not personal, private information. Other than, it would be good if adopted person knows, like, okay, well, there were 5 people in the family all got certain kind of cancer, or there were 3 people who got right. It's just so you know where to look sometimes. Okay, what to concentrate on, what kind of doctors to see, or what you need to look out for, and what you need to plan for. Because there are genetic factors involved. I mean, that's not a lie. Okay? So some of you are just false accusing people right out loud. The only thing I can address are the people standing on U.S. soil who are using the internet to consistently bully people, to try and fish for information that just is not meant for them. Okay? To try and determine whether or not you are a vulnerable child online. Hi, parents and people who look after children and people who care about children. Don't let them online. You don't know what the fuck they're doing. There are some clever assholes operating. And unfortunately, it's not just in my country. It's in other countries too. All right? The elderly, the elders, okay? I'm close enough in age and in understanding because my parents were, like I said, my peer age groups, they were other people's grandparents' age when I was growing up. So I had to be an adult right out the gate no matter what. And there are people who have treated me like I'm a complete dumbass, and I let you. Okay? I give a shit that law enforcement having to do with the United States of America is as properly prepared as they can be. I agree with some people. There's some law enforcement officers who have gotten their hands on firearms and they probably should not. There are some. Okay? And especially federal, it's like, nope, you got to be far more aware of who you're hiring and what kind of stress they can take and their emotional intelligence. You got to put them through stress tests. You got to put them through things that, yes, because out in the field, you pull that trigger, you have to say why. And when you pull it 12 times on somebody who's like scared. Okay, now that was a local law enforcement, but I know I've seen it. I saw it. Scared 12-year-old autistic, or young autistic, scared, running, scared, afraid. The world is scary when they don't have the proper person with them, or a loved one, or a caregiver. Or they got lost and they can't find their way home. Whatever that was, I mean, it was like something like 12 fucking discharges. Okay, well, that guy's fucking fired, man. Okay, 12 discharges for any law enforcement officer, if you are not trying to shoot at 12 people, is wrong. No more firearm for that one. Learn and put that into training. Okay? I've met people who shouldn't have firearms personally. And unfortunately, some of them have been, a few have been federal law enforcement officers. I'm allowed to say that because I worked in a position where I could see it every day. Okay? I'm not trying to take away anybody's Second Amendment rights. What I'm saying is that the Second Amendment was put there for a situation that doesn't even exist anymore. Okay? And I'm okay with it if you are focusing on gun safety every single day of your lives. Okay? Learning when you're under stress not to pull the fucking trigger. Learning to understand what it is, okay? And most people who are law enforcement in this country, you go through training where they're told, okay, if you are going to point it at someone, you better mean it. You better be prepared to use it. Do not point it at anyone or anything unless you intend to destroy. That's not just for law enforcement officers, United States citizens. And what I'm going to tell the NRA is, well, listen, I mean, all I'm saying to you is make sure gun safety is your number one fucking priority. And also, uh, yeah, like have something they can learn either at a firing range where there's an instructor or someone who can, proctor a short, right, like learning module somehow of proper use of a gun, and how to look for in your own self, maybe your own family, right, signs of sadness and grief that are above what normally would happen with this person, and take away their firearm and hold it for them. Okay? Yeah, do a suicide. When I'm alive, yes, do that. Do training on that. On not how to do it, how to recognize the signs, especially if you know people have a firearm. It's too easy. It's too easy. I don't carry a firearm for that reason. I never will. I never will because I can't. So if you're former law enforcement, or you're former military, or you just have a firearm and you know that you feel things more deeply, and sometimes it's you're feeling somebody else's, but right, I mean, sometimes you walk with them and feel it with them. This is something that some of us are able to do. I am finished with my reasonable service, so that is my last statement. In the United States of America, okay, NRA, all you, make sure that you are giving proper education, right, about unaliving. I say the word, I'm saying don't do it. You want to educate them to see the signs and know themselves well enough to know that they probably should not have a gun in their vicinity. Not because they're going to kill someone else, but because they are falling into grief. or have had some serious life changes happen that have caused them some harm. And it can build to the point where some people will unalive themselves, not knowing certain things, being bullied, being attacked, being harassed, being lied about online. In the United States of America, it's just plain wrong. You cannot argue with me with that. There's no argument. We don't have to set a precedent. The precedent's already been set. In the United States, all parties are considered innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Okay? So if you attack them and they haven't been through the court of law and you put all this crap online, yeah, they can turn around and sue you for slander. Don't slander me online. I know what's going to happen next because it's unchangeable. Okay? I don't really care what my hair looks like. Understand? It's on my head. I grow it for cancer rates. Okay. Now I said that to someone that DM'd me on X, claiming to be a celebrity, which I know because I can sense your presence. And you are not. There's one. There's one who could be, right? But he's being really, really careful and cautious. But I doubt that Youngblood has like 10, X accounts and like 20 Telegram accounts. Okay. I doubt that, yeah, Brent from Shinedown. I doubt that. I mean, it's just in the music alone, let alone somebody's trying to come at me like Elon Musk. Like, jeez. And somebody's trying to come at me like Russell Crowe and even played me. I played it for you online. I played it online. And I'm all I can say is, well, here I'll just forward this to Russell Crowe's official account on Twitter X because I know he did. I don't know if he still does, but I know that he runs his own account. I mean, he said he did. That was a while ago. Maybe some assholes made that change because they just can't handle the internet properly, which is what millions and millions of people. There are millions and millions and millions of people. They don't understand the ramifications of putting something online. And that's why I'm trying to say, well, law enforcement, some of them put their own crimes right online. You deserve to get caught. Captain Maurice Last, excuse me. Hi, FBI. Yeah, I'm pretty sure when you vet that one, yeah, it's going to come up as, okay, well, that one knows, right, PNC Bank and me, I've forgiven it. I moved on. I don't give a shit. But that motherfucker should not be allowed in this goddamn country. Okay? So I am going to get to the bottom of all these fake accounts coming to me. All right? It's just true. You okay? You want to stop me, you're going to have to come here and do it yourself. Okay? Some of you are cowards. Some of you are. And you don't belong online for any reason whatsoever. I don't like the fact that the internet has made it easier for certain kind of criminals to participate in those crimes, especially against children. I am your enemy. Children are not sex objects in any way whatsoever. If you think like that, immediately take yourself to a hospital or a doctor and say, okay, I'm probably mentally ill and I need help being restrained from causing harm to children. mean, anybody tries to, expose me, it's like, oh, well, you're just going to end up with evidence that I've been saying the truth the whole time that I've been online. This is my video diary now because typing has become an issue here and there. I do get tremors now to the point where, yeah, especially on my left side, I mean, I make typos left and right. So I've been trying to practice and learn how to speak to the speech to text, okay, um, so that I say and enunciate things and it goes to text and then it's written. Sometimes it doesn't pick up certain things. And so I notice and then I have to go back. But I mean, essentially, yeah, I have to do that. I have to do this here now. So it's like my diary. It's also, a place where I put educational materials, especially for the people local to me, and for people to understand. All right, well, a lot of you don't understand, and that's okay. It's not that you can't, it's just that maybe it's none of your business. Maybe you don't need to understand. Maybe you need to just let some shit go. So I forgave the romance scam and all of it. I don't want your fucking stinky ass money. But I don't want you operating in my goddamn country, which is the United States of America. And I got to tell everybody in the United States of America, you must believe me and trust the truth when I tell you the Constitution holds perfectly. Okay? I don't like pedophiles and I don't have to. I don't like people who are taking innocent people and then trying to maneuver them away from their parents and their loved ones and then use them for all kinds of interesting purposes. I know that's not God's plan. Liars. I did go through the process of getting a national security clearance. That's a true statement. There are people within the United States government who know that I was honest about my family, right? They know. There are people who've been to the doctors and hospitals with me and who help me, go back and forth and, trying to just even get the proper diagnosis. I know some of it is spiritual, but now I'm being protected from that too. I don't have to like romance scammers to go after vulnerable United States residents. No, I don't. And none of you who, right, get online and get on my DM and they start talking to me like you're the celebrity you say you are. Okay? And then try and tell me what to do. Oh, you shouldn't give your hair away for, cancer wigs. Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? No. Who are you? You are commanded to reveal yourself to me. I'm on team don't keep dropping shit on the kids. So you can break your own fucking curses so they don't hit the children. Yes, all of the children on planet Earth I'm talking about. I don't have to like shitbags operating in my own country, nor do I have to tolerate shitbags from another country who use the internet to cause harm and recruit people for harmful, shitty things. Leave the innocent alone. Me, right here. I live at 533 Boo Street, Elkton, Maryland 21921, and I am your enemy. Now, if I change form, you will understand what nightmares are. I will help you understand why. I will help you purge that from yourself. You leave the children of earth alone. Last warning.